So the first half of this treatment is to stimulate acupuncture points, and those points will stimulate the channels, and those channels run down your legs, sometimes down your arms. And so it's a way of not only treating your face, but getting the chi flow throughout your body. So let's go through the points. If you want to know about the indications, I have a separate video about that, but for time's sake, let's just go through the points quickly and then how to stimulate those points. So let's start with the stimulation. So I have the little cup here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna squeeze it before I attach it to my skin, and then I'm gonna release. So squeeze, release, and then squeeze it again before you pull it off. One big no-no is that if you squeeze it and then pluck it off, and you'll hear like a little, then you might get a hickey, because that's going to draw the blood to the surface, and nobody wants a hickey. Another way you can give yourself a hickey is by leaving it on for too long. And that's actually when you saw Michael Phelps with his like spots in the Olympics. That was how the cupping gave him a big hickey. And that's a good thing for him because that meant it was moving the stagnation, but no one wants that look on their face. So let's do this the safe way. So I always just press, release, press, release. It's that fast. And so we're gonna start on our chin. If you see my eyes move that way, it's because I'm looking at my face in the camera so I can see what I'm doing. But this kind of valley in the middle of the chin is our first point. It's called Ren 24. And then we're gonna go up to the middle above our lips, and that's Do 24. And then on the side of our nose, right in the middle of the nostril, that's large intestine 20. But there's also a point that's just right where, this is called the nasolabial fold here, right where it hits the nose. That point there is called B-tongue. And I like both these points because they help the sinuses, and right now it's springtime and everyone's having a little sinus issue. And you can see my face already is more red on that side than that side because I have really sensitive skin, but you might not have that reaction. And then if you go underneath the eyeballs and go straight down, so you'll feel like where the eye socket is, it's called the orbital rim. You never, ever, ever, ever cup in there. You don't want to suction anywhere close to your eyeballs. But if underneath that point, there's kind of a little divot that you're going to feel kind of on the top of the cheekbone there. So underneath your pupil, go down and feel that divot, and then that's stomach 2. And stomach 1 is too close to the eyeball, so we're going to go stomach 2 and not stomach 1. And then we're gonna go right between the brows to yin tong, one of my favorite points, the snooze button. And then we're gonna go the beginning of the eyebrow, the middle of the eyebrow, the end of our eyebrow. So this is bladder 2. Bladder 1 is like right there, so we don't wanna go by the eyeball again. The middle of the eyebrow is an extra point. It helps brighten the eyes. And then the end of the eyebrow is the end of your Sanjiao channel. And then here is gallbladder 1. So you kind of want to go out from the corner, between the corner and your eyebrow, and there's kind of a ridge where the eye socket ends and your temple begins. You want to go right in the beginning of that ridge. And then go back kind of towards the middle of the temple, and that's an extra point called Taiyang, which helps your immune system, and Lord knows we all want that this year. So I just did one side of my face, and now I'm going to do the other side back to the nostril, and then below the eyeball, stomach, and then we're going to go yin tong, beginning of eyebrow, middle of eyebrow, end of eyebrow, right by the orbital rim, and then Taiyang. Okay, so now I'm going without saying the names so I can go faster. then nostril, eye, under the eye, middle of the brow, beginning of the brow, middle of the brow, end of the brow, just down between the eyebrow and the eyeball on the temple, and then the middle of the temple. And then one more time, and I'm going to be silent this time so you can do this without me yakking. And that was the sound I was trying not to make. Okay, so that was 3 passes. Usually I do 3 passes. There's no rule that says you have to do 3, but Chinese medicine, people like to do things in odd numbers, so 1, 3, or 5. And I usually go for 3. But now make sure that you have your facial oil on. Usually I put it on before I do that part. But we're gonna do sliding cupping next. I can smell the lavender in this oil. It smells good. Okay, so I'm using my own custom blend, Cheek Glow. It's a gua sha oil, but it's a general facial oil. I love this oil because it is full of like really nice nutrient dense oils, but they're also non-comedogenic, so they don't clog your pores, and they're good for sensitive skin like me. There's no essential oils in them. I infuse some of the oils with lavender from my yard actually, and so it's just a really mild herbal scent to it. It's nothing overpowering, and you don't have to worry about getting it in your eyeballs like other products with essential oils. So starting underneath the chin, actually, what you're gonna do is stimulate this point right under here, and you can also slide under here. So I probably should have told you the sliding technique before I just went into it. So what you're gonna do is, just like our press and release, what you're gonna do is you're gonna press, release, slide, release. Press, release, slide, press. Actually, you're not releasing until after you've pushed again. And then press, slide, and release. Now you can see I'm getting a lot of redness there, so I would not want to go back over that area again. Like I don't want to give myself a hickey. But that's releasing a lot of heat in that area for me, so eventually that's going to be good. So press, slide, press. Press, slide, press. You also want to pay attention to how much you're sectioning. You just want to section a little bit. You don't want to section too hard. So depending on how hard you squeeze it at the beginning, that's going to and how much you release, that's going to determine the kind of section. So just gently section. And sometimes your cup, if you're not going completely perpendicular to the skin, then it's going to slide off, and then it's going to release when you don't want it to. But that happens. You'll get the hang of it. I think the fact that I'm talking through this is also not helping my cup stay on. So after I go underneath the chin, and then I do the jawline, and then I'm kind of going from the corner of the mouth out towards this little notch on the ear, and then I'm going to go up and over my cheekbone, but I'm going to stay under the orbital rim. I'm not going to go close to my eyeball. So up and over the cheekbone. So you can kind of think of it as like a lifting. And I can also go under the cheekbone here. I like starting with this kind of juicy area because I like getting that fluid out. And you can see my skin is red, and I don't want to go beyond that point. know when to stop. So pay attention while you're cupping. I might be talking a lot about what I'm doing, but actually giving myself a treatment while I'm not talking takes like not very long. So I'm just going up and out, up and out, up and out, and then I can do this side too. If you find that there's an area that's hard to get to, like I could even go in and do my eyebrow area here, but of course don't get close to your eyeball, just stay right on your eyebrow. I could grab the little cup because the big cup is always not going to be able to suction there. If you have a hard time suctioning, you could always add more oil over the area. And you can see that that redness on the side of the face is already starting to go away. So it was, even though it seemed like a big deal when it was happening, it's not that big of a deal. So let's go to the other side of the face. I am not as good with my left hand. I'm right hand dominant. So I'm gonna turn my face to the right so I can get to the side and still use my right hand. Hypothetically, I could train myself to do this with my left hand. Okay, so up the jaw from the corner of the mouth to the ear. And you can see I kind of had too much pressure there and it's already red. So I'm only gonna do one line. Feel free to go over it. I'm not sectioning on these ones, but you can go and section and follow along. So now I'm gonna go closer to my sinuses and kind of go up and over my cheekbone. So I'm going over 3 times or until I see it get too red. And I'm not gonna section this one because it's already too red. But yeah. So those, what I love about this cupping is that you're really moving that fluid up and it's lifting, even though you're not technically like lifting the cup like you would with a gua sha because you have to keep it sectioned. But I'm gonna go over my forehead one more time, going up. Now that was like not suctioning very well, so I'm gonna go and use my little one, and that is suctioning better. And there's gonna be some areas where it doesn't suction as well. You have to focus a little more on keeping it flat, making sure that there's enough oil on it. But the face has like, my forehead skin is tighter than my skin in this area. And so the cup is having a harder time making the suction happen. So that's totally normal. But that's why we have the 2 sizes of cups, is that we can kind of alternate and adjust as we need. So after we do the face, I definitely wore the wrong shirt today. We're gonna go down the neck. And so the rule with the neck is that you never slide. Don't ever, ever, ever slide, because we have blood vessels, big blood vessels in this area that can form plaques, and we don't want those plaques to dislodge. So sliding is something that can really cause those to dislodge, but staying on muscles. So like we have our SCM here, which is this muscle that kind of, I don't know if I go like this, you can see it. This is the anterior portion of the sternocleidomastoid, mastoid, but everyone just says SCM because who wants to say the other one? And what you want to do is suction, release, suction, release, suction, release. And you can go down that muscle. And then you can kind of go from behind the ear and keep on going down the sides of the neck. And you can see that it's making more noises, partially because I don't have oil on my neck. And so it's having a hard time suctioning. And so sorry for the kissy sounds. Okay, so I went the anterior portion of this muscle kind of straight down and then straight down the side of the neck. You can slide and go over the shoulders if you have oil on your shoulders, and then you can also slide and go under the collarbone. And I'll film a separate video without this turtleneck on and put it on my YouTube channel so that you can see this part of the treatment in more detail, because it is an important part on getting the neck open, because our energy, it's important that it can go up and down freely, and the neck is a big part of that. So press, release, press, release, press, release, press, release. And then you can slide down this area. It needs oil. And then under the collarbone, you can slide kind of from where you'll see a little notch here. You can go right under that and then slide right by the shoulder. And this area in here is important because there's some really juicy lung points. And that channel doesn't start on the face, it starts right there. So get in there. Okay, so that is the facial cupping demo. I hope you enjoyed this demonstration. If you liked it, please follow my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram, and share it with a family member or a friend who also might find this fun and learn something. If you need cups, I sell these in my beauty shop. I sell these in a set, and you can also find that Chi Glow gua sha oil. If you're on YouTube, there's a link down below. If you're on Instagram, there's a link in my bio, or you can go to drellerie.com/shop. So I hope you found this educational, and I hope that you have a wonderful and glowing day.